What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the new and improved AUAG 2.0. Alright, I know it's been a while and I apologize for that. There's a good reason for it. For those of you that continue to follow me and stuck around, I really appreciate that. So, today's channel, we're going to talk about cash fiat versus gold and silver. If you're interested in any of that, like I've mentioned before, you're definitely going to want to hear this. So kick back, relax, and enjoy the show. Alright, before we get started, do me a favor, smash that like button if you haven't already. Please subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so that you know about any new content that I release. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, nor am I giving you any financial advice. I'm just giving you my opinion and sharing some knowledge. Let's get into it. Cash. What are the major functions of cash? 1. It's a medium of exchange. What does that mean? It's an exchange for goods and services. You give me this item, I give you that cash. You give me that cash, I give you this item, right? This for that, that for this. Buys you food, pays your bills, services your home and vehicle, even your health, and a lot of other things out there. It's a store of wealth. Before I even talk about that, I'm not really fond about it, but at the same time, we do know people that do this. But we're going to talk a little bit more about that throughout the video. It's a unit of accountability. It's measured in different denominations ranging from a dollar bill to 10, 20, 50, $100 bills, right? And it can be tracked from the amount of dollars a person may have, save, or spend. Pros, bottom line up front, it's good for emergencies. Entertainment, we work hard, we want to play hard. It's life support. Buys us water, food, and shelter. And at the end of the day, it's purchasing power. It's absolutely necessary to have cash savings. At least that's what I do. Cons. Before I get into that, let me share a quick story with you. So I had a buddy of mine that once said to me that, bro, I know you have a stash of cash sitting underneath your bed mattress. You need to put that money to work for you while you're sleeping. And now, mind you, this was a while ago, and I didn't quite know what he meant when he first started talking about that to me. And gold and silver triggered this for me. This started it all. And he wasn't even into gold and silver. I had another buddy that was. But let's talk about it. I took my cash fiat, my good old cash, right, that we all love. And at the end of the day, it's necessary. We all need it. I took that, I converted it, or bought, or whatever you want to call it, into gold and silver. Point blank, I put my cash to work, whether it was in stocks, crypto, and now I'm not in everything, but I'm working on getting into other things. And I put it to work. Now, before I even give you my own opinion about ROI for gold and silver or other precious metals, even though you can get a small return, gold and silver should not be seen as this type of investment where you're expecting a substantial return. Precious metals serve as protection. It's a safe haven against potential unforeseen hardship in our country's economy. We've seen it before. The crash in 2008, COVID-19 that we all recently experienced, the Great Depression, the recessions from way back in the day. Let's move on. Let's talk about the loss of purchasing power over time and the contributing factors such as inflation. Every year, the US dollar experienced a 2% inflation rate at minimum. Now, I've said in my other videos, the dollar loses value every year. Heck, even every month. The amount of printing that's going on today. So Sunday, August 15th, 1971, Richard Nixon, the 37th US president, removed the gold standard from the dollar. And that was significant because it did so much to cash versus gold and how they played a role to one another. It enabled the government the ability to borrow money on demand. Asked the Federal Reserve said, sure, hey, why not? And obviously there goes a lot more into that. It's not that simple. And they started printing money. And ultimately this created fiat. Fiat is backed by nothing, such as the gold and silver it was backed by way back in the day. Like I mentioned before, 1971, well, it's not that far back, but you know what I'm trying to say. And now it's solely the government's promise that the US currency will remain valuable. Fiat money does not have intrinsic value. Fiat is a promise to pay, the promissory note. I've said this multiple times in my 2 little videos I've already started, and I'm going to be humble about that. How much is cash worth when cash can be printed at will? Buying power on the dollar over time. You think back to the early 1900s and you think back to today when gold was $20.67 March 9th, 1933, before gold was declared illegal effective May 1st, 1933. It's $20.67. And it's still 1 ounce of gold, right? 1 ounce. I'm sharing it with you. And now today, it's almost valued at $1,900, slightly, from the time of making this video at least. The foundation of gold and silver, it acted as the anchor for keeping our monetary system in check. Important things for us to think about when storing our monetary value in gold and silver. You have to remember, this is a form of insurance. If in the event the dollar does poorly or something bad happens, you will all be protected by the safe haven of precious metals. And I didn't get that in the beginning, and it took me some time to understand this. And there are a lot of good information out there on the internet, YouTube, books that explain this stuff and it get further into detail. You're not going to learn everything you need to know in a short 9 to 10, 15 minute video, whatever that may be. It's a tier 1 asset. It's the funds a bank uses to function on a regular basis and forms the basis of a financial institution's strength. It's important to know. It's significant. It's not some small little rinky-dinky thing that, oh, it's just a hobby. I had somebody tell me that not too long ago, and I schooled them real quick, and I opened their eyes and I showed them a whole nother ball game about what gold and silver is really about. And they were interested. Now, if they got into it, I don't know, but I know a couple of my buddies that did. That is facts. Gold and silver is payment rather than the promise to pay. It's fungible, meaning it's replaceable. Wherever you go in the world, I got some over here. I take a 1 ounce piece of gold or a couple ounces of gold, and I want to liquidate in another country. And now there are other things you got to think about, but it translates from this $1,900 coin approximately into their $1,900 of their currency. You don't have to worry about losing value by exchanging our currency for another currency, whether ours is less or more in that country. So that's important to think about. Gold and silver act as money. It's performed as such for centuries. It stands alone. It's independent. It's a hedge against inflation. We all know it's a good thing to have some gold and silver, whether you have it now or you want to have it in the future, or you're interested, or whatever it may be. It's a store of value. Gold and silver are superior to cash. At least that's my opinion. And I think a lot of others out there that know about this stuff would agree. How long has gold and silver been around? I said that in my other video, and I'm gonna say it again. Since the beginning of time. Robert Kiyosaki, he's great. He's awesome. He's super popular. If you don't know him, look him up. And I promise you're gonna find some things that he says very interesting. It's God's money. It's been here since the beginning of time. Literally, it's been embedded into the rock of our earth. And this is how this stuff is mined. It's from our earth. Cash, fiat, is printed at will. The legislation, policy, politicians, they get into their think tanks and they, debate, talk, articulate, however you want to look at that. And they come to a consensus where we need more cash and they just pump it into the system. But there's cause and effect to these kind of things that we need to think about as the end user citizens. Gold is many forms of money. Gold cannot be printed, which is why it's so valuable. It's so scarce. It's so hard to get a hold of. So these are all important things to think about when you think about cash, fiat, right? Cash, fiat, the good old thing a lot of us are interested in. And I'm not gonna lie, I was the same way too. But there are more valuable things out there when you think about storing your wealth in other assets. There really are. All right, guys, so check it out. Short video, straight to the point. I hope you found something interesting and were able to learn something from me today on today's channel. And if you did, once again, smash that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Comment below on your thoughts. And please keep it civil. And don't forget to click that notification bell one more time before you head out if you haven't already. I'll see y'all again soon. Let's keep stacking.